Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Noogie from GardeningSalesGuides.com. We're going to show you to do Beth versus the knight thing. Anyway, use a lot of crit on Beth. That's crucial, right? Because you can one-hit the mobs sometimes, but just never in a normal attack. My count is stacked, and I can't hit him in a normal attack. Other than that, it's just crit, 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 and you do the statue because it's just going to be helpful. Getting into the do's. Alright, so we're going to stack as much crit as you can, as we've already said. We're going to focus on killing the enemies. The enemies cap out. I know it seems weird, but the very first time I killed it, they capped out. So you can just constantly focus on the enemies, not the boss. If you do, that's what you're supposed to do. And eventually your enemies will stop spawning and you can just easily defeat the boss. Only use your specials on the boss. They won't, they can, I guess, in certain instances hit the enemies, but you don't want that. Your boss damage is the specials, and honestly, they should just be used to interrupt certain things. And speaking of which, there is a long cast that the boss will do. Now, this isn't super crucial, but you want to interrupt the long cast because it's that one where he puts a circle around him that you have to stay into. That's the only way you're really going to get damaged for the most part. It wants you to stay in the circle, but you don't really have to. I didn't, and even in the attempt I'm about to show you, I really didn't. You can move out of the circle. If you stay in the circle during this time, you will probably die because the ads will just load up. But interrupting that is good because you won't take the damage by getting out of the circle. And that's pretty much your do's, so let's go into your don'ts. So your don'ts are pretty simple, actually. We do not focus damage on the boss. The boss damage is absolutely the last priority. It's not hard to do the boss alone, so your damage should be totally and utterly focused on the ads, which will dictate the fight, win or lose. Auto attack enemies on the side. Don't do that. Do not do that. Like, the whole premise of this, the way Beth works, and the reason why they did the achievement, is the first attack that Beth does has a good amount of range, and it does a decent amount of damage, right? So the whole premise is to get that first attack off, run away, get that first attack off, run away. If you attack 1, 2, 3 on the mobs, you'll hit them with the first attack and not the second or the third. So you want to run in, run out, run in, run out, kind of like guerrilla warfare, right? That's how you're going to kill these mobs. Like, my account is absolutely stacked in attack power, and there's no way that I can one-shot any of these mobs. So don't think that there's anything you can do to one-shot the mobs, unless it's a crit. So that's why we're stacking up on crit, because one less mob or one less attack on a mob is kind of the make or break for the fight. So the less time you have to spend more than one attack on a mob, the better. So that's why we stack crit, so on and so forth. And the other thing is, you sometimes will have to attack enemies close to the boss. It's not ideal, but sometimes it just happens. If you have to do that, just try to get as much distance from the boss, because the boss is basically there to suck your auto attacks in, which you don't want because you need to do those to kill the mobs on the side. So if you can, run outside or away from the boss, because you'll watch in the video, I'm just always trying to get away from the boss. And that's kind of how it is. You get away, you attack a mob, then you go to the other side, you attack a mob. So you're kind of just alternating sides if you can. And the first time I killed the boss, like I said, stopped spawning enemies, and it just came down to me and the boss, which takes a little while, right? The second time I killed the boss, which was for this, I did not run out of enemies. And it was really, really sloppy, but you know what? That's the video you're getting. But either way, like, the boss did not stop spawning ads, and eventually my damage just slowly took the boss down, and that's fine. There were some sticky situations, and which we'll see in a second, but it could have been done smoother. I could have interrupted more of the long cast, but I didn't. I just focused totally on ads. And you'll see at some points I get stuck too close to the boss, and it kind of takes my auto attacks and brings it to him rather than mob, so it got a little scary. Ironically, I kind of this morning. I was like, all right, I'm going to do this achievement, or I'm gonna video this so I can show y'all. And it took the third try. So this is the easier of the 3 current achievements between Bari on 90, Arena on 80, and this fight. So, well, hopefully that helps. Let's get into the actual video. Alright, so thankfully these fights last a little longer, so the concept of moving these stupid blocks on these, you don't have to constantly redo, as that would be maddening. But right off the bat, we're going to special, and then we're going to get to killing the mobs. And we're pretty much going to just do this the whole time. We're going to go back and forth, left to right, killing the mobs, and then just specialing him. Now, you can see he's about to do his long cast, and we interrupted that. Now, when I was actually learning this, I was being a little bit more diligent on interrupting that cast. And you probably want to do that rather than the way I'm doing it, because I do have a healthy amount of defense. So, you know, you're probably going to need to do that cast, because I have no problem like walking over the area in which is, you know, red. So here's the thing, the boss is right next to like 4 or 5 guys, and the boss is kind of sucking in my auto attacks. It's really good when the boss is on one side and your enemies are on the other side. And you can start to see why crit is so useful here, because you don't want to auto attack the enemy twice. You just want to get one shot off and then go to the next enemy. So it's another situation where he's kind of close to all the bad guys. I'm trying to get to the sides. He's just sucking in the auto attacks. So I got kind of close here. I thought for sure I'd die there. Like, because once you get to 8 enemies, obviously, the encounter's over. That was a 7 for a good 10 seconds there. And you can kill 2 at once if they're stacked on each other. So we're looking at the boss has got like 10%, right? I've got 4 mobs left. I was thinking maybe they just stopped spawning at this point, but they didn't. I did only get 2 there instead of the normal 4, so I'm pretty sure I'm at the cap here. But even if he's at 5%, you still go kill monsters. Nope, not at the cap at all. So one hit could probably kill him, but I'm just going to be careful. And that's kind of it, right? That's the encounter. Just back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. And I'm sure once you kind of get that motion going and you get comfortable with the fight, you're going to do great. But either way, hopefully that helps. And good luck on getting those achievements. Adios.